What if I told you the greatest battle of your life isn't fought on a battlefield at all? It's fought in sterile rooms under blinding lights. It's fought in the silence between heartbeats during a scan. It's a war waged with poison, with radiation, with a fragile, stubborn hope that defies every statistic. This is a story that was supposed to have an ending. A tragic finale that headlines predicted and fans dreaded. But today, the script has been flipped. This isn't an ending. This is a new beginning. This is the story of Liz Woods, the 90-Day Fiancé star who stared down a stage 4 cancer diagnosis and said, "Not today." You've seen the drama, the tears, the international love scandals on your screen. But you have never seen a fight like this. Strap in. Because her journey is about to redefine what it means to be a survivor. And it's a journey that is far, far from over. Welcome, everyone, to a special, deeply personal documentary-style exploration. I'm your host, and if you're new here, we dive into the stories behind the headlines, the human spirit behind the reality TV persona. And today, we are granted an incredible, raw, and ongoing look into the life of Elizabeth Liz Woods. For those who need a quick recap, Liz first entered our collective consciousness through her turbulent, fiery relationship with Big Ed Brown on 90-Day Fiancé. Their saga was a roller coaster of breakups, makeups, and very public drama. We thought we knew her story. We thought it was a love story, however complicated. But in early 2023, the plot shifted in a way no one could have anticipated. Liz shared the devastating news that she had been diagnosed with stage 4 endometrial cancer. The kind of diagnosis that stops your world. Suddenly, the TV drama faded into irrelevance. This was real life, with the highest possible stakes. The public updates became sporadic, heart-wrenching. Pictures of her in hospital gowns. Mentions of aggressive chemotherapy. The shedding of her signature hair. The 90-day community and beyond held its breath. This wasn't a storyline, this was a young woman fighting for her life. And then, silence. The kind of silence that breeds worry. Until now. Recently, Liz broke that silence with a major health update. And it's this update that forms the core of our story today. But this isn't just a report. This is a deep dive into the battle, the aftermath, and the uncharted territory of what comes next. Because survival is a victory, but it is not a full stop. It is a comma. And Liz's story is still being written. Let's rewind. To understand the magnitude of this update, we have to go back to the beginning of the fight. Imagine your body, the one you've lived in your entire life, suddenly becoming a stranger. A traitor. Liz described feeling unwell, symptoms she initially brushed aside. Fatigue that was more than just tiredness. Unexplained pains. The body's subtle, then not so subtle, alarms. The journey to a diagnosis for many cancer patients is a labyrinth of doctors' appointments, misdirections, and growing dread. For Liz, that labyrinth ended with 3 words: stage 4 cancer. Endometrial. The stage 4 label is the one that echoes in the soul. It means the cancer has traveled. It has metastasized. It is no longer a localized threat, it is a systemic invasion. In that moment, her entire identity shattered. She was no longer Liz from 90-Day Fiancé. She was Liz, the cancer patient. Her future, once a sprawling landscape of possibilities, shrank to the confines of treatment schedules, survival rates, and immediate, brutal choices. The public persona dissolved. In its place was a raw, vulnerable warrior. She documented the physical toll with a bravery that deserves immense respect. The chemotherapy sessions, sitting in those chairs as toxic chemicals, the very thing that could kill her to save her, dripped into her veins. The nausea that becomes a constant companion. The mouth sores. The devastating loss of her hair, not just a cosmetic change, but a stark, daily reminder of the war within. She shared pictures, not for sympathy, but perhaps as a testament. This is what it looks like. This is the reality. Then came the surgeries. The invasive, body-altering procedures aimed at cutting the enemy out. Each surgery, a trauma. Each recovery, a mountain. Her social media became a diary of pain and small victories. Made it through another round. Could keep a meal down today. These were the milestones. The glamour of television was a universe away. This was the gritty, unvarnished truth of a cancer battle. And through it all, the shadow of uncertainty. The scans that could bring good news or catastrophe. The blood tests that told a story her body was living. The emotional whirlwind, the moments of defiant hope crashing into waves of sheer terror. Where was her relationship in all this? Where was Big Ed? That's a complicated subplot, but in the grand narrative of survival, it became a secondary concern for many watching. This was Liz's solo mission, supported by family, close friends, and an army of fans who became a digital support system. This brings us to the present. To the update that has everyone talking. In a series of emotional, candid posts and interviews, Liz Woods has delivered news that can only be described as monumental. The intense, punishing chemotherapy cycles have ended. The major surgeries are behind her. Recent scans, those anxiety-inducing windows into her body, show no evidence of disease. Let that term sink in. NED. It's the phrase every cancer patient fights to hear. It means the scans can't find active cancer. The tumors are gone. The treatment, the agony, the relentless fight, it worked. She is, in the most crucial sense, in remission. The visual transformation is striking. In her videos, there is a light in her eyes that had dimmed. There is new hair, coming back in soft waves, a physical symbol of renewal. There is strength in her voice, a strength that is no longer just about enduring pain, but about embracing a future. She talks about the simple joys, having energy to play with her daughter, tasting food again, feeling the sun on her skin without being racked with pain. These are the miracles of survival. But, and this is the most important part of her message, and the core of why her story continues, she is adamant that this is not a cure. Stage 4 cancer is a lifelong companion, a ghost that may always linger in the periphery. She will be on maintenance therapy. She will have scan anxiety for the rest of her life. Every cough, every twinge of pain, will bring a flash of fear. The trauma of the battle is now woven into the fabric of her being. Her update isn't a declaration of victory and a return to normal life. It's a declaration of a new phase, survivorship. And survivorship is its own complex, challenging journey. The body is healing, but what about the mind? The psychological scars of a cancer battle are profound. PTSD from treatments, anxiety about recurrence, the struggle to find a new normal when the old normal is obliterated. Liz has spoken about this openly, the feeling of being lost now that the intense, structured fight is over. The battle gave her a brutal purpose. Now, she has to build a life with the peace she fought for. She's also discussing the long-term physical side effects. Chemobrain, the cognitive fog. Nerve damage. Early menopause induced by treatment. The impact on her fertility. Her story is now about managing these lasting echoes of the war. It's about navigating a world that expects you to be back to normal when you are, fundamentally, a changed person. So, where does Liz Woods go from here? This is where the documentary of her life enters its newest, most uncertain chapter. And it's a chapter we will all be watching with hope. First, there is the personal reconstruction. Rebuilding relationships that were strained under the immense pressure of illness. Focusing on being a mother, a daughter, a friend, not a patient. Exploring who she is after facing her own mortality at such a young age. There's talk of advocacy. Having lived through the fire, she now wants to use her platform, however it was originally gained, for something profoundly meaningful. She hints at wanting to support other young women facing gynecologic cancers, to be a voice for early detection, to fundraise for research. Her 90-day Fiancé fame has given her a megaphone, and she seems determined to use it for this new purpose. And then, there is the inevitable question of the public eye. Will she return to reality TV? Could her journey through survivorship become a new narrative? A show about life after cancer, about resilience, about the messy, beautiful, challenging act of living? It's a possibility. Whether on 90 Day Fiancé or a new project, her story now carries a weight and an inspiration that transcends typical reality TV drama. But more immediately, her future is filled with mundane, beautiful milestones. A future she wasn't sure she'd have. Birthdays. Holidays. Summers. Watching her daughter grow up. These are the victories that don't make headlines but are the entire point of the fight. She's learning to listen to her new body, to respect its limits and celebrate its strengths. She's exploring holistic healing, nutrition, therapy, mindfulness, to complement her medical care. The fight has evolved from a brutal assault on cancer to a gentle, dedicated project of rebuilding Liz. My Liz's story is more than a celebrity health update. It's a masterclass in human resilience. It forces us to confront our own vulnerabilities. It reminds us that behind every headline, every TV persona, is a human being with a beating heart, fears, and an incredible will to live. And as we speak, Liz's story is unfolding in real time. Right now, she is likely navigating a doctor's appointment, or perhaps enjoying a quiet moment of peace that was unimaginable a year ago. The camera of life is still rolling. The next scan is on the horizon, a date circled on the calendar with a mixture of hope and dread. The maintenance treatment continues, a constant reminder and protector. The work of healing her mind, of processing the trauma, is a daily practice. She is mapping a new identity, one that integrates cancer survivor without letting it define her completely. There are dreams put on hold that are now being revisited. Travel. Creative projects. Deeper connections. There is also the vital work of advocacy she has begun, using her voice to cut through the noise and reach one person who is sitting in a chemo chair, scared and feeling alone, to say, "I see you. And there can be light after this." Her relationship with her body is a lifelong negotiation. Learning to trust it again after it betrayed her. Celebrating its scars as maps of her survival. Listening to its new rhythms. This is the quiet, ongoing work that headlines don't cover. The financial and logistical aftermath of cancer is another battlefront: medical bills, insurance, disability. These are the unglamorous, critical chapters of her story that will be written in spreadsheets and phone calls with administrators. And through it all, there is the simple, profound act of living. Waking up each morning with gratitude that is hard-won and deeply felt. Finding joy in the ordinary. This is the ultimate victory, and it is a victory that is renewed every single day. Liz Woods is not a character in a concluded story. She is a woman in the middle of her most important chapter yet. She is a testament to modern medicine, to fierce love, and to the stubborn, unbreakable will of the human spirit. Her update wasn't an ending. It was a pivot. A turn from a path of destruction onto a long, winding road of recreation. And we, as witnesses to her journey, are reminded of our own strength. We are reminded to hug our loved ones tighter. To listen to our bodies. To fight for our lives with every fiber of our being. Her story continues. The next update, the next milestone, the next challenge, the next joy, they are all out there, in the unwritten pages of her future. And if her battle has taught us anything, it's to never, ever count her out. She is Liz Woods. Survivor. Warrior. Work in progress. And her documentary is still being filmed. If this deep dive into resilience, into the real human story behind the reality TV star, resonated with you, then you're in the right place. This channel is dedicated to stories that matter, narratives that inspire and unveil the truth behind the tabloids. Liz's journey is one of many we will explore. By subscribing and hitting that notification bell, you're not just getting updates, you're joining a community that values depth, courage, and the ongoing saga of the human experience. Your subscription tells YouTube this is the kind of content that deserves a platform. It allows us to dive deeper, to bring more stories like Liz's to light. Let's show Liz and all those in similar fights that their stories have power. That they create ripples of hope. Drop a comment below with the word survivor to send that collective energy of support. Share this video with someone who needs a reminder of strength today. And most importantly, if Liz's story has touched you in any way, let that be a catalyst for your own life. Listen to your body. Cherish your health. Fight for your joy. This isn't goodbye to this story. It's to be continued, and we'll be here, ready to explore the next chapter together. Subscribe now, and let's keep the conversation going. I'll see you in the next video.